Hello, Bharat. Yesterday we have started the concept of MBO. We consider that concept is very, very important. Okay, just to recap, we will go to that one. MBO, it is a system of management. It is a system, sorry. The system of management by objectives can be described as a process whereby the superior and subordinate managers of an organization jointly identify its common goals, define each individual's major areas of responsibility in terms of results expected of him, and use these measures as guides for operating the units and assess the contribution of each of its members. I think this is what yesterday we were discussing about. Now, let us discuss some of the features of MBO. This one is very important. I think wherever you go, people they ask you. MBO is not merely a technique, but a philosophy. Why we call philosophy? Yesterday, I was sharing with you about immaturity to maturity theory and also theory X and Y. All these things they talk about our philosophy towards our subordinates. So, therefore, let us not think it is a technique. It is not just a technique, but it is a philosophy. Then the second feature of MBO is that means a positive philosophy regarding human beings. The second thing happens to be here the decision making is done jointly, collectively decided by superior and subordinates. So this is what happens. Then the third thing is the corporate, departmental, and individual objectives are used as a yardstick to measure performance. That means we are going to use MBO in planning. We will also use this MBO in control or in measuring the performance of subordinates. Then MBO provides for a regular review of performance. Then the objectives of MBOs provide guidelines for appropriate systems and procedures, and these objectives also become a basis for reward and punishment in the organization. So these are the features of MBO. So they look so nice, but if we want to implement this MBO, a radical change in our thinking or the think of management is required, because first of all we should get into that kind of positive thinking about human being. So that is required. Now the steps in MBO, one is you have to form organizational formulate organizational objectives, the setting up of subordinate goals, then periodic meetings and performance appraisal. Now we use this MBO in planning. We talk about this MBO in motivation. we also talk about this MBO in performance appraisal or control systems. Also, we talk about this MBO. Now, MBO looks so nice. Yeah. Um, because there are a lot of benefits. One is you can manage your organization in a better way, and lot of things are clarified because it is a joint decision making process, and because people that are involved in the decision making process, they will also give their commitment. Then the last thing is it helps us to control, it helps us to have auto control system in the organization, or we use the word, it helps us to have this self control. Now, as I told you, it looks so nice, but to implement this MBO, what we need is a change in the thinking of management, a change in the thinking of subordinates, and management should not think that they are giving up their prerogatives. Sometimes people they think this is my organization, I have to decide what they have to do. So that kind of that means losing our prerogative, that kind of thinking management should not have. Then the subordinates also, they should not think in the name of joint decision making process they are trying to exploit us. That kind of thinking they should not have. So it requires a radical change in our thinking, both on the part of management and also on the part of um, subordinates. Now, one more thing is, whenever we want to implement some of these things, we need to be sensitive to the settings, sensitive to the situation that is there in the organization. Now, having seen MBO, the next thing that we have to quickly go through, it's about decision making. Decision making, it is the selection based on some criteria from two or more possible alternatives. Now, McFarland calls a decision making is an act of choice wherein an executive forms a conclusion about what must be done in a given situation, and this decision represents a course of behavior chosen from a number of possible alternatives. Now, what is the decision making process? Now, whatever definitions I have read, I think those things will be explained as we move forward. Now, decision making process is the process of making choices, number one, by setting goals, two, by gathering information, three, by assessing alternative uh, occupations or by assessing alternatives. Now, kindly remember the steps that are involved in decision making process. Let me tell you, these steps are used and useful in many places. These steps are useful and also used in many places. Now, we will start. First one is we have to recognize that there is a need for decision. So, when we recognize that there's a need for decision, I think when we face a problem, when you think, when you perceive that that there is a problem, a decision has to be taken. So, it is called perception. Okay, recognizing a need for a decision. Then the second thing is, why should I take a decision? Because you try to understand, since there is a problem, I need to take a decision. If there is no problem, if everything is straight, I think the question of taking decision doesn't arise. Therefore, you consider that there is a problem. Therefore, there is a need for us to take a decision. Then from there we move. So there is a problem, we agree, we take into cognizance the problem. The next thing is to solve this problem. What are the alternatives? Come on, let us generate these alternatives. Now, how do you generate these alternatives? There are different ways. You may have brainstorming, you may have different kinds of techniques in order to generate various alternatives. Now, after generating this alternative, the next thing that comes is we have to assess these alternatives. Now, each alternative will be having certain plus points and also certain limitations. Therefore, we have to think about these alternatives, pros and cons. Then after reviewing all these alternatives, the next stage comes is I have to choose among these alternatives and which appears to be the best one. Then what we need to do is we have to implement this alternative, which appears to be the best one. And the last one is after implementing this one, then at periodical intervals, you need to get feedback and we have to assess whether the alternative that which we have taken and implemented, which we have considered as the best alternative, is it giving a positive results or not, or is there a need for us to change it, or is there a need for us to amend these things? Okay, these are the things one has to take. This applies in every function of management. It could be related to marketing, it could be related to finance, it could be related to operations, it could be related to HR. Any of the decision, I think you can implement these steps, we can follow. Now, I think whatever I have shown in the form of a diagram, I try to put in this form. Identify the decision to be made, gather relevant information, identify alternatives, weigh alternate evidence, choose among the alternatives, take action, review decision and consequences. Then, if it is required, again we have to go through it. Now, what is the significance of the decision making process? Decision making process, implementation of managerial function, I think it is there everywhere. As I told you, in every function of management, I think we need to take decisions. Then the second thing is um, it is pervasive decision making. Third thing is we have to evaluate, it helps us to evaluate managerial performance. Then fourth one, it is helpful in planning and policies also. That means they're part of the planning. Decision making helps us to plan, and this decision making helps in selecting the best alternatives, and it leads to the success of a business. Now, when we talk about this decision making, there are certain models. One thing happens to the classical model. Till now, whatever we have discussed, it is called a classical model. Now, what is that we have discussed so far? I need to think that there is a problem, or I need to identify the problem. Therefore, there is a need for me to make this decision. So the classical model assumes that I know my problem, I list alternatives and consequences. That means it assumes that all information is available to the manager. Then the second thing, what we consider in this model, we rank each alternative from low to high. That means it assumes that manager can process information. Then the third thing is, I'm assuming after weighing plus and minus point, I am choosing the best alternative. So, but here the assumption is manager assumes um, the best future course of action. So these are the assumptions based on the classical model is built. Therefore, today what we have understood, okay, that is okay, but people like Herbert Simon started questioning certain things. Is are you able to see this screen? Now I have put the administrative model. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Now, many times this is what happens in our life. I think I know my problem. I assume that it is my problem. I'll give one small example. See, let us say there is a college, I think, where you have got students from lower middle class, and uh, that is their economic background, and somebody started, let us say, cafe day, cafe day. And what there are some people they assume that if I give quality products, people will come, and my customer base will increase and I will be getting profits. But sometimes it so happens, some of the best products they are not sold, though they are qualitative, though you provide them. I think the best thing they are not sold. The reason is sometimes the problem that we are considering as a problem, that is not the real problem. So, what Herbert Simon, am I clear? See, I gave
Yes,
the
sir.
example. The economic background of student is lower middle class, and you are starting a cafe day there. So, the question is, will they come and have their coffee or tea in the cafe day? You know very well how much,
No,
of
they
course,
can't afford.
yeah, good that means place to sit and good coffee, all these things they provide. But in some places it won't click. And I can tell you one more example, that in Hyderabad there are some famous sweet shops. Whatever I'm talking, it is subject to correction. I'm not saying I'm final. Can you name a few sweet shops? There are many, but suddenly sweet shop means a few sweet shops they come to your mind.
Fullareddy.
Pardon?
Fullareddy.
Yes,
Fullareddy.
yes, Pularadi. Yeah, the moment you say sweet shop, it comes to our mind because he has got a lot of it. I met him,
Yes.
I spoke to him, and he was telling a lot of things. Really, they were revelation to me. The way he is considering his customers, the way he's treating people, and all those things. I was so happy about those things. Now, a shop like that, it was started. It is a that shop is famous everywhere. Wherever a shop, people they go and they buy. But a shop like that, it is started in a place like, of course, like Charminar. I'm not defaming anyone. Try to understand. And after some time, a shop like that, I think they have to remove that one. Why they have to remove that one? Reasons are many, but there are many sweet shops, very famous sweet shop. The likes of people, they are different. Try to understand. The likes of people or the taste of people, they are different. Now, therefore, what we are thinking, if I give a quality product or this kind of product, people they accept. But sometimes what I assume may not be correct. Therefore, see, the steps that are
వేడి
given,
మాత్రం
uh, listen carefully. The steps that are given, say in decision making, I know my problem. To solve my problem, I know the alternatives. I know all the alternatives. The next one is I'm able to evaluate all the alternatives. That means I have full information to evaluate those alternatives. Then the next one is I am choosing the best one which has got less minus points and more plus points. The next thing that I am thinking is I am implementing it. All these things I am assuming. Herbert Simon talks about these are the assumptions based on we are taking lot of decisions, but one of the I can tell you is limitation is our rationality is bounded rationality. For example, you think for a long time we were assuming for every kind of illness we were equating with God. You agree with me? Or I'll put it like this. When children they are crawling, I think sometimes I think some of the loose motions they'll be having. Children, you call diarrhea like that, and one of the things people they were attributing because that fellow is getting tea. I think this problem is coming up, but over a period of time, what we have understood was that is not the actual problem. See, the problem is as the child is crawling, I think he will put his hand on the floor. I think then he will put his hand in his mouth. Some dust may go. That may create some problem. And that is the reason all these things are happening. See, sometimes what we are considering as a problem, that is not the problem. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes things that we are considering, that is not the problem. The problem is something else. So, first of all, the rationality is bounded rational talks about based on limited information, we are identifying the problem. Then, based on limited information, we are coming out with solutions, alternatives. Then, based on limited information, we are evaluating those alternatives. Then, whenever we are choosing, we are assuming we are choosing the best one. So, what we tell people under the present circumstances, and in the light of given information, what we have to tell, the decisions that we are taking, they are satisficing. Am I clear? Right now, this much information I'm having, and in the light of this information, that this decision which I am taking, I think it is correct. When I get new information, maybe I have to change my decision. Herbert Simon talks about satisficing model or administrative model of decision making. This one is very, very why I call it very important means several times we think we are correct. Many times we are not correct. When you get new information, I think when you have new revelation, I think you have to change. That is the reason always we tell people that we are progressive. You agree with me? When I get new information, I think based on the new information, I will try to change my decision. Nothing wrong. Maybe in the exam they can ask you. Now, why the information is incomplete? I think certain things in this one we are telling. Uncertainty and risk is there, ambiguous information, time constraint, and information cost. Because of all these reasons, the information that we are getting is incomplete, and our decisions are made based on this incomplete information. Therefore, I think our decision, the results are not the best result. They are not optimizing. The only thing is we are going to have satisficing. Therefore, it's called satisficing decision making process. So same thing is, I think I have told you. Now, what are the types of decision making? We have got program, non-program decisions. Program decisions are related to routine and repetitive problems, and non-program decisions are unusual problems that demand high level of executive judgment and consideration. Then we talk about routine and strategic decisions, are repetitive in nature and have a short-term impact. And they have a short-term impact. And 1 minute. 1 minute. Right. See what I did know. Sometimes I get it out. Whatever I'm talking is correct or not. Immediately I'll try to check. I spoke about satisfying decision-making process, and this is given by Herbert Simon. Actually, I was sharing this one with you, Herbert Simon. Then routine and strategic decisions. Routine decisions are repetitive decisions. They are relating to your day-to-day operations. They have short-term impact. Strategic decisions involve long-term commitment, significant investment. They influence the entire organization. Then we talk about organizational personal decisions. Organization decisions are made by officials in their capacity as a resource allocator. And these things we can delegate it to others, but personal decisions, they are taken by individuals, and many times these things cannot be delegated. Then we talk about the individual decisions and group decisions. Individual decisions are made by an individual based on information available to them, whereas group decisions are made by like board of directors, committees, and these people. They are crucial for the organizations. Then we talk about tactical decisions and strategic decisions. Yesterday I was sharing with you. Tactical decisions making is important because it helps organization to respond quickly to the changes in the environment. Strategic decision making is important because it helps organization to establish a clear direction and make informed choices about resource allocation. Then there are decisions that are relating to policy. The policies, that means which govern the future of the organization, and there are certain decisions that we take regarding our day-to-day operations of the organizations. These are the different types of decision making. Now, what are the problems involved in the case of any decision making? Very, very simple. The first question is, at what level you are making decision? Is it individual level? It's okay. Group level, again, when we talk about group level, are you taking decision at board level, at top level? Because some of the decisions we are going to have a long term implications. Therefore, the first problem is you have to think at what level this decision has to be made. Certain decisions seems to be as it they can be taken at a lower level, but I think they'll be having far reaching implications. Therefore, you have to think about them. Then the second problem in the case of decision making, or you can consider the challenge, is time. How much time you have to take that particular decisions? I think many times decisions are taken within a short span of time, but the implications they have too long. Therefore, you have to be careful about that one. Then the third thing is to take any decisions. Do we have reliable data? Now, here one more thing. To take any decisions, timely, reliable data is required. Now, two words I have used. Timely, second thing is reliable. Now, we are talking about information. Now, how much information you need? Sometimes you may get lot of information. By the time you get that information, I think you can't take any decision. Therefore, what you need is timely, reliable data. Then the next one is risk taking ability. Now, when you are not having a timely, reliable, see, timely, reliable, both the things are required. When you do not have that, you have to decide how much risk you are willing to take. What is your ability to take risk? See, when you do not have time and when you have to take decision based on the available information, you have to decide how much risk you are willing to take. If something goes wrong, one day I had to take decision in my office. Then I was thinking, I have kept something in the board and board has approved. And even then I was thinking, if something goes wrong, what is my risk? How much I have to pay? Then I calculated mental calculation like that. I calculated, okay, if something goes wrong, I think this much money I need to repay. If that is the case, okay, because I want to do good for organization. I want to do good for organization. Therefore, the decision I have taken, and because I've taken decision, if something goes wrong, what is that? At how much risk I'm taking, I have calculated mentally. Then mentally I prepared. Okay, this much risk I'm willing to take. What is our risk taking ability? Then when too many options are available, I think sometimes you'll be having too much confusion. Then do you have adequate support? Adequate support, you need to have technological support, then you need to have the support of people also. Then when you another thing is inadequate support, that is a problem. Then lack of resources. See, we talk about timely information, but do you have resources to get the timely information? Then okay, you have done all these things, but okay, your data talks about that there is a need for us to change, but are we willing to change? Sometimes we are unwilling or inability to change. um, I think that is also another challenge or problem. Then escalation of commitment. What is this escalation of commitment? See, you have taken a decision. Because this is online, I am not giving this kind of example. You have taken a decision and you think the decision is wrong, but still you want to put money on that one because you think, Arey, I have already spent so much amount of money. What to do? Arey, what to do means stop here at least. See, there are some people they won't do like that. There is something called escalation of commitment is there. Then in the decision making, always we are governed by our biases. Lot of biases are there. Then there's a conflict whether to take it, not to take it, even after taking, while implementing also, a lot of conflict will be there. I think when you take this, I think you will experience these things as you move forward in your careers. Then how to make this decision effective? Number one, identify the decision. You realize that you need to make a decision. First of all, is there a need for decision? Or unnecessarily you are getting into that one, you have to make it very clear. The second thing is get relevant information, timely information, identify alternatives, then weigh evidence, then choose among the alternatives, then take action and review your decision making process. So whatever we were discussing, okay, these things we right. It's 6:35. The thing is, this one I'm stopping, and I'm going to start one more topic. One more topic. I'll start. Dear friends, I think As we move forward, I think we have to discuss a topic on organizational behavior also. Because of paucity of time, what I'm doing is I'll start with introduction of organization behavior. In that one, the function of organizing steps and all those things I'll try to discuss. Is it visible? Is it visible? Shiva Sai or Bharat can respond because I can see those two names. Or anyone. Is it visible? Is my voice audible? My God, no response. Can I get some response from anyone? Hello? Hello? Acha. Okay, just Umar Animan. Yes, it is 7 years, Mehboob. Yes, okay. I think you are muted. I think that is the reason you are not. Uh, Now again, okay, okay. Now I have to check. Bharat, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see screen. Thank you, thank you. Dear friends, now I'm starting a very interesting part. Organizational behavior. All of us know that we are born in organization, brought up in organization, work in organization, live in organization, die in organization, and even after our death, the organizations they follow us. Therefore, our behavior it is different in the organization. Now, you might be having lot of management techniques and all those things, but we need to understand that we are working with people. People, they are the most important thing in any organization. Without people, we cannot do anything. And if you want to achieve the goals of the organization, you have to get it done only through people. Management talks about it is the art of getting things done through people only. And the people who get things done through others, I think they are called managers. And those who work for others, they are called operatives. Now you might be thinking, why should I study about this subject? Organizational behavior or a topic organizational behavior. See, the behavior of people undergoes a lot of change based on where they are. Sometime back, I think a good friend of mine used to crack a joke given by a man who was at the helm of affairs. And that person told, my stand depends on where I sit. My stand, that means my stand depends on where I sit. I think you'll be in a position to appreciate that statement. I'll put it like this: my behavior depends on where I am. Now, all of us know, um, when you are in office, your behavior is different. When you are in temple, your behavior is different. You agree with me? In a movie house, your behavior is different. And let's say you are attending a music program, and if that music program is by, who's the uh, youth music director nowadays who plays, in those days we used to take the example of Devi Prasad. Now who's the person? Music director. I think when you attend some music director's concert and all those things, you'll be tapping your feet. On the other hand, if you attend a bhajan program, there the way you, the behavior that you exhibit, it is different. So that means my behavior is different at different places. You might be thinking, in what way? All these things are related to our lesson. Oh, Taman, beams, wonderful, wonderful. I got message. Taman, I was also thinking about Taman. We are unable to say due to host has restricted us. No problem, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, thank you so much. Now, you might be thinking, why should I? This fellow is talking all those things here. Let me tell you, my job as a manager is to get things done through people to achieve the goals of the organization. I have to manage. What I have to manage? I have to manage the behavior of people. See, behavior is what appears outside, but what happens inside, it is something different. So I need to make an effort to see that my desired behavior I should get by understanding what happens to those people within themselves. Now, this subject talks about, it's a part of, I think, the management we tell. Organization behavior, it is a field of study. It investigates the impact of individuals, groups, and structure have on behavior within organization for the purpose of applying such knowledge towards improving an organization effectiveness. Let me explain this one. It's a beautiful thing. As I told you, my behavior is different. When I am with my children, grandchildren, wife, my behavior is different. When I go to office, my behavior is altogether different. So as a manager, what I need to do is I need to get from people the desired behavior so that they get the results for the organization. Now, as I told you, the people who are working in the organization, there are three important things. They are individuals, they are groups, and they work in a particular structure. Try to understand. That means my behavior is governed by what happens to me and what happens, what was happening in my family. I think when I go to office, I think people say, many times we tell people, you have to forget whatever that is happening in your family. I think you have to forget, you should not carry all those things, we tell people. But don't you think we are normal human beings? I'm not saying that these things should impact our work, but as a normal human being, they will be at the back of our mind. So, my behavior in the office, it is based on my individuality. When I talk about my individuality, my behavior in the office is based on my family environment, my personality, the way I learn, my attitudes, all these things, they will create impact in the organization. Can I leave? See, that is an individual behavior. all those things they impact him. Therefore, I will keep quiet. No, no, as a manager, I should understand what is his personality, what is his motivation, what are his attitude, how this man learns. I think I have to understand those things. By understanding those things, I have to direct him such a way. I have to use that kind of knowledge in order to get the results that are there in the organization. Then the second thing that I'm going to talk about, as an individual, I might be good. As an individual, I might be very good. But when I am in a group, I think group influences me a lot. Group influences me a lot. Okay. Don't you think the company with which we are moving, it's going to have a tremendous impact on our behavior? Yes or no? I'm going to share with you a very small incident. I like the you call the character, or you use some people use the word character. Okay, um, about Karna in Mahabharata, right? Without Karna, there is no Mahabharata. Some people they talk like that. Okay, I like that character very much, and he is too generous. He is too generous. Whatever you ask, he will give. There are a lot of stories. He won't even change his hand, thinking if he changes his hand, his heart may change. Therefore, if someone asks, whatever they ask, they give. He will give. And even if that is coming in the way of giving up his life, he will give. You heard about the story of Karna in Mahabharata. Can someone type yes or no? Yes. Yes. Karna Mahabharata. We know that story. Such a generous man. I think when Draupadi Vastrapana was there, when she was pleading, I think his behavior was different. The reason was, you are in a different group. Your loyalty is something, it is to something. If I am wrong, please say no. Sir, you are wrong, you type. If I am wrong. Can someone type? Such a generous man. I think in that Draupadi Vastrapanam scene, I think he could not help. He is generous. The reason is group, a group behavior. You agree with me? His loyalty, his group, and all those things. Can someone respond? Yes. Yes, boss. Now, what we are telling people, I might be different. See, as an individual, I may be different. But when I am in a group, my behavior undergoes a change. I know about my students also. My students, they used to boycott other classes, but when I'm in my class, they were hesitating to come. That is one thing. And sometimes the other thing that happens, they come and what they do, they talk in a different tone. They ask students to boycott, and after everything is over, then the person who led that boycott again, he will come to us and say, "Sorry, sir, we had to do like this. We have to excuse this, sir." And we can understand them. That means because he is in that group, the behavior is different. That what is it I'm trying to convey? I'm trying to convey the behavior of people as an individual, it is different. When they are in a group, it is different. When they are in different organization structures, their behavior is different. I can tell you again, When you are in a temple, your behavior is different. When you are in college, your behavior is different. That is what I was telling. Likewise, again, if you are working in a military organization, your behavior is different. If you are working in a software industry, your behavior is different. If you are working in a place like DRDA, your behavior is different. If you are working in a place like BHEL, your behavior is different. Because the structure of the organization is like that. So, what is that we are trying to do in this one? I am trying to understand individuals and groups working in a structure. And why I am trying to understand all these things? Because I want to apply that knowledge in order to improve an organization's effectiveness. Now, I'll discuss about this effectiveness also. Now, organization behavior is it is directly concerned with understanding, predicting, and controlling the behavior of people in organization. Three words: understanding, predicting, controlling the behavior of people. Three words: understanding, control, predicting, controlling human behavior. Because I am not talking in this one. Of course, I may talk about the impact of robots on human behavior. That's a different thing. But here I am trying to understand human behavior, and that too in organizations only. Now, what for I am trying to understand, predict, and control the behavior of people in organization means I want to lead these people for effectiveness of the organization. Then one more definition: organizational behavior is the study of organizational components and their impact on human behavior and organizational performance. Here I am going to share with you something. Again, listen carefully. When I talk about an organization, these things should come to our mind. In every organization, we have task, structure, technology, people, strategy, and they operate in an environment. Very simple. Am I clear? Can someone say? Task, structure, technology, people, strategy, they are operating in an environment, they are working in an environment. Now, any change in any of the components will have impact on my behavior. And when it is having impact on my behavior, that will be impacting the performance of the organization. Therefore, in the subject, what we are trying to understand, predict, and control is organizational components and their impact on human behavior in order to see its impact on the performance of the organization. Okay, quickly we will see some of the characteristics of this organizational behavior, features of organizational behavior. Uh, OB happens to be, it is a part of general management. Therefore, we are studying on this under the subject management and organization behavior. The second thing is it is a human tool for human benefit. OB subject, it is a human tool for human benefit. Now, I want to tell you, whatever I think you are going to study many subjects. You are going to study finance, you are going to study marketing, you are going to study operations, so many things you are going to study. But the underlying part of every subject is a human being, right? In every subject, you have human being. You might be thinking, how about finance, sir? Finance, we do some problems and all those things. But let me tell you, today, one important subject has emerged in the area of finance. Some people, they call it neurofinance. Some people, they call it behavioral finance, because how human behavior is going to have impact on financial decisions. Because you think you are taking some decision relating to financing, then investing and all these things. You might be taking decisions, but human behavior plays a vital role in all these things. So you need to understand the human behavior in all these things. Now, therefore, organization behavior is considered as a human tool for human benefit. The next one is I'm going to discuss third point in detail. It is influenced by other disciplines like sociology, psychology, anthropology, and all these disciplines. They affect these human decisions. Then it has got three levels of analysis: individual level, group level, and organization level analysis we are going to do. Then it is a body of theory, research, and application. Till now we are trying to do based on notions, based on assumptions. But today we are going, today I think there were days um, we were taking decisions like that, but today we are talking about evidence based management, evidence based organization theory and behavior. Quickly I need to do it, otherwise suddenly it will stop. Then it is action oriented and goal oriented. It is considered science because a lot of research work is done. It is also considered as an art because you need to practice it over a period of time, only you will learn. Then it integrates individuals and organizations. So these are the features of organizational behavior. Okay, I know. I was expecting the same thing. Hello? Anyone that side can just put a message? Can anyone type? Acha, acha, you still you can say no problem. So um, I thought they will stop. They will stop quickly. I have stopped it. Okay, it's time up. I know. Shravana, thank you so much. I think with that intention only I hasten. Thank you so much. God be willing, tomorrow we'll meet. Thank you so much. I'm leaving.